Right, hello YouTube. Welcome once again to some more From the Depths. Now, first of all this episode, I want to start with something interesting. And this was thanks to one of you guys in the subs that pointed this out. On the subs, the comments rather, I should say. This Nelson, right, supposedly 60 meters tall. The hull, I would argue, is about as deep as the bridge. Maybe a little bit less, but it's not too far off. Our ship is also 33 meters tall. Except it really doesn't look like it's 33 meters tall. Or if that's 33, how is this 60? Because it doesn't look anything like as tall. I mean, you look at it, it's clearly not. This should be half the height of the other thing, and yet it's coming out as the same height, which is bringing me no end of confusion. So let's spawn another Nelson on our side, and we'll actually measure it and work out how tall the hull is, because I think something may not be working quite right here, or if it is, there's something I'm not taking into account. So the height of the hull is, if we start from there, where we can measure it. I'm ready to actually, if I put something underneath it, then we can measure it. That is 4, 8, 12, 16, 19. So the height of the hull is 19. That would be what? 21. No, 23, 27, 31, 35, sorry, I'm trying to think about this, 39, 43. Okay, that's actually, hang on, no, 43, 47, 51, 54. Okay, yeah, that probably is about right. So it's this that's thrown it off? Either way, that means our battleship is built completely wrong proportionally, which is annoying because, as you can see, I spent the time to fill the hull out. But also, this is supposedly only 33 tall, and I don't know if that's right or not. Let's measure where 20 would come to, so it would be, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Yeah, so it's tremendously too tall. Okay. What we'll maybe do then is we'll use prefab mode and we'll literally just sever the top of the ship and then neaten it out. So we may have to redesign the front, but oh, we're not making it any taller than that? Apparently not. Right. Alright, pause, aren't we? Oh, there we go. Oh, can we... How do we... Can we... I thought we could use that to delete things, but maybe not. Okay, we might have to manually cut it off then. Right. Yeah, oh yeah, to explain what we're doing, we're working on the battleship, for those who haven't been keeping up. Those who just joined us, yep, we're building a battleship for From the Depths' modded Finest Hour campaign. Or a pocket battleship, I suppose you would call it. It's not quite a full-size one. We're building it to take on HMS Nelson, although it will have escorts. Whatever we can spare, aircraft, definitely, at the very least. And ideally other surface ships too. But Nelson's going to rip straight through our fleet at the moment if we don't stop it, so we do need something very quickly. We've already had one death in this campaign. I would prefer to avoid another one. Yeah, we'll cut this off as well while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, this should be about right. Once this is done, this should end up at about 20 meters tall. So yes, thank you for person in the comments pointing that out, because I might not have twigged onto that until it was too late and the ship was far too expensive. Hoping because it's larger, the bottom bit will stay and the top won't. But yeah, it was almost up to like 83,000 in materials already, and I was also thinking that seemed a bit weird, because I was like, yeah, that does seem a lot for not even like the full armor layout, just like the hollow hull. But yeah, the armor layout is something we'll probably be getting to in this video. I'm going to do my normal segmenting out the interior that we've done with the other ships. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that leaves us at exactly 20 where we wanted to be. We shall save that. We may end up a little taller, and we are going to have to fix up the front of the hull, because that's going to be the wrong shape now, but... we may end up at 21 for the main deck, but either way. Why is the game lagging so much? Oh, it's because we've got an air pump. Yeah, I need to take the air pump out as well. I think we did work out it was because it was recalculating every frame. It slows the game down so much. Well, not recalculating every frame, recalculating every time you add a new block. So we'll see if that's better now. Of course, it was a large enclosed space. Does that even look better for the front? Yeah, that looks quite nice for the front bit, and then the rest will be... yeah. Yeah, notice no little lag spikes every time we place a block now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the building episodes. I think that seems to be the ones people actually look forward to the most, if anything, but I hope you guys enjoyed them, because I think we might be on this one for a little bit. This one might be a bit of a project. Right, the back's actually okay. That's actually severed off quite nicely, and I think it looks alright. Yeah, it's not as nice as having the proper dual curve, but it doesn't look awful. Right. It definitely looks more proportional now. It also did look visually like way too tall. Right. We need to decide what guns we're having, and I think we were going to stick with a rough copy of what the one we were looking at had. So let's load that in again on friendly side, and that was the... it's not the Hipper, it's not the Eugen, it's the... hang on, I'm trying to think now. Is it the Hipper? No, it's about 650. Was it the Scharnhorst? I think it's the Scharnhorst. The Pocket Battleship one. Is this the one we were looking at before? It is. Okay. We're going to roughly copy its weapon loadout for the sake of getting the cost about right. That seems to have worked for us before. So, tri-turret, tri-main battery, quad secondary, tertiary is needed. Okay, right. So, also we'll have a look at its armor layout. How... I know it has the very thick armor, at least at the bottom. That's interesting. Is it only too thick there? No, it is thicker around the gun. Okay, so I think the armor thickens up there, and then behind, yeah, pretty much behind that line, it's thinner. And by thinner, I mean still 2 blocks, or at least iron and... yes, they look like they're using heavy metal on the outside and then alloy on the inside to keep it less than light, which is quite clever. I'm happy to copy that. Alright. It's on our side, isn't it? Why can't we build on it? It's not on our side. But yeah, we set it to Archean. Why did that not... friendly, come on. We want to be able to mess with this thing. Right. Don't you go going anywhere.
Receiving.
Don't go anywhere. Right. Let's have a look. So, preview the armor layout. So at the... let's go to the nose where we were looking at before. Start from there. Oh my god, there's so many bits. No, we have the Z-fighting thing earlier. Ah, yeah, it was, because they've actually done a sloped deck. It's rather nice looking, actually. We could try and copy that, potentially. That front's actually just solid. They're using helium pumps. Oh, they really are doing a lot to keep this thing buoyant. Like, a lot. It's very heavily segmented. Right. Okay, wow. So the... what's in here? Nothing. Okay. weird. Okay. Oh, no, these are just segmented, I think. 3 thick. God, they have gone all out. Right. So the ship is pretty much... Yeah, it's 4 thick to the side of the turrets. They've got metal, heavy armor, beams, metal. And then an extra bit around the turret well. Okay, so they've got the turret wells, which incidentally are how wide? I know we looked at this last time, but I'm just trying to get my head around this properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they've got 11 meter turrets. So we'll space out for 11 meter turrets and then we'll build appropriately. Where's the one we're actually building? It's there. You are a boat. We go for triple 11 meter turrets. Then we'll start planning the rest around that. They are pretty much the full height of the ship, although we'll have 2 meters on the bottom just in case. So, where is it? It's the thing where you go prefab mode? No. Oh god, where is it? Sub-objects? Sub-objects. 11 meter turrets. Like I say, we're sort of copying the layout at least. I think we're a bit thicker. Yeah, I've ended up a bit squarer. They've really done a good job of keeping that curve going all the way. I was going to end up a bit more square, which is not super ideal. It will mean we're heavier, but we should be more buoyant. Okay, so we have 1 turret there. We'll go 1 at the front there. 1, 2, 3. 1 there. And then if we space out for our secondaries, but we have maybe less sort of tertiary guns, but heavier secondaries. So if we go maybe there and there, go for the quad layout again. Okay, we'll go with that. That should be good for the internal. So then we can sort of build the armor layout around it. We'll also want to know roughly where the engines are going to go. Steam engines. We will be using steam engines that are actually direct drive as usual. In fact, this is an opportunity to go for a quad setup this time instead of the 2 we've been going for our earlier ships. Although we do need to check how big they are. Okay, maybe a triple like some of theirs have got. The AI have got. Just for the sake of definitely having space for it. Okay. Yeah, we'll go for triple. That's off as having quad on even bigger ships, but right, so we'll want space back here for the engine, which will have to be quite substantial. Well, each individual one doesn't need that much necessarily. Right. So let's block out how thick we want our armor to be. So like I said, we're going to sort of copy their layout, but we're going to do a couple of things different. Actually, we're potentially going to do that. I want to have a look at something first. Let's load the nastiest battleships in the game. In this mod, which I believe should be the Bismarck. I think it's about to spawn halfway through something. Actually, the Maxim's kind of random, right? It's kind of an old design. The Iowa, the more modern design. And the Amato. And let's see what their shells are firing. If we see heat or HESH rounds, we'll maybe worry about it. If not, we won't actually worry about having that air gap because I'm not sure it'll actually make much difference. Now, they're armed with them, but I'm not sure that's necessarily because they think they need them. Flipping. Yeah, what's happened? The Bismarck has spawned on our team, the rest have not. Oh well, right, let's have a look at the gun. Okay, pause the game. Access intakes. Pen depth fuse. No, they're using like pen depth rounds. What about these? They're using... That's tiny little shells. That can't be its main battery. Here we go. No, that... It's not the main battery. They haven't turned yet. Okay. Shoot the big guns. We want to see what you're firing. I've got to watch these 2 front guns. And... Okay. Yeah, no. It doesn't look like we really even need the air gap necessarily. I hope I saved my ship before I did that. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't even look like... I'm not even quite sure why they've got the pen depth layer. I don't know if that or that layer. It might be to stop the player from potentially using those against them. So what we shall do is lightweight. We'll do 2 layers of lightweight alloy. Colour it nice and bright so we can see it. See what we've done. We'll go a little bit with the whole all or nothing thing. We might leave the front quite light. And then we'll do a layer of heavy armour on the inside. If we go up to there, and then that should be enough space to still fit the rest. Like I say, the AI uses extremely thick armour by the look of it, and we have had a problem with that historically, not using enough, because I'm never quite sure how to do armour layouts like that. So this will be our learning curve. This is where we're going to learn how to make that work. So we need a second layer. We also need to actually put a layer in at the far ends of the armour layout. I also noticed they did have Citadel armouring around the centre, which is where we'll put our AI and ammo and whatnot. There needs to be some more around an engine room as well. Okay, and then they had... We'll put the metal in at the front as well. I'd also be interested to know, this is one for you, you Brothans in the comments, does armour stacking work with different types of armour, or do you have to be using the same type all the way through to get the bonus to, like, your total armour value? Just fill that into there. Same to here. Oh. Wait, does that mean that should be a 3? Hang on. It should. Okay. But yes, if anyone knows whether armour stacking works with different materials laid on top of each other, I'd be interested to know. Right, and then on the inside, and also if we're making a terrible mistake, we're not having that air gap, I feel like we should be okay. In fact, let's colour this the grey so we can tell where it ends. Okay, it seems a little risky to have that integrated into that, but you know what? Should be alright. I don't even think I need to flip it upside down, but flip it back the right way up, really. Yeah, I figured this seems to make more sense to me than what the other ships do, which is to have the... I just realised it's supposed to stick out. To have the heavy armour in near the outside, where it would presumably be taking up the most weight. Unless the idea is it's to get the hard surface on the outside, but it feels like this would be way lighter than me, right? Like, you've only got the smallest possible area is armoured in it. It's still tough, but it should still add if the armour stacking does indeed work, but it's on the inside where it's not in the way. But anyway, right. It does take up a fair bit of internal space. Let's go to the back and put a rough layer around for an engine. We could always have it be thinner, but let's start with a metal layer on the outside. Let's go pretty much up to where the edge of the engine, or the prop shafts would be. Oh, in red. And we'll go... Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. It needs to go outwards, so it needs to be... We'll have this be a bit thinner. Just for the sake of weight and space, because it will need to fit, obviously. And we can have the prop shaft running through the armour. We'll account for that later when we build the actual engine room. There's not going to be much room in here, is there? No wonder they use motors. We could always still have steam generating motors, I suppose. Put the engines in the centre of the ship, potentially, and then use the motors that they do. But we've already put this armour in, and then I have to take it all out again. We'll see what we can fit. Yeah, we could still do that, potentially. We could still have a vertical generator stack in here, and then... and have electric motors. That might even not be a bad way to do it, but we'll see what we can fit in there. Because you only need like one piston per propeller, right, technically, I think. We'll see what we can do. We'll assume that's going to be the internal layout for that, and then the rest of the hull. Probably still want to divide up a little bit, right? So I guess we maybe want to run some of this armor to the top. And is there anything we'd want in the front? We could have torpedo bays in the front, potentially, like large torpedoes. Some battleships did have torpedo launchers, I believe. I'm going for cost. We're at about 1/6 of our budget now. Let's see what this thing costs once we pull the armor right to the top and see what we're working with. In the right colour. So I want to be 1 layer below the deck. I want to stop at, is that 2 at the moment? So 2 more. Yeah, 2 more will put it right to the deck. So let's... Making me realise how much of the ship cost for the AI is just sheer metal, apparently. Yeah, why am I holding the mouse button down? I can do that. Yeah, if you press Control H, for those who don't know, it used to be a different keybind. I can't remember what it was, but it's Control H now. You enter like this permanent build mode. Oop. It'll just place as soon as you move onto a location. It is a big time saver. Yeah, I believe... This is probably one working left click. I believe it was 3 layers up and then another 2. Get the height right. Yeah. 90% of the cost is going to be that heavy armor, or a lot of the cost is going to be that heavy armor, because that stuff's a lot more than the other armor types. That's why, again, I wanted to keep it to a minimum by putting it on the inside, not the outside. But again, I might be doing that wrong. It might be that you put it there because it then gets its armor, its high armor base exposed while there's still a lot of armor stacking behind it. But I figure for the sake of weight and cost, this is definitely better, right? But again, as we've said with one of our other things, I should be using this again. We've got to keep an eye on the budget, but if there's something that would make our ship a lot better by spending out on it, it's probably worth it most of the time. I find quality goes a long way in this build over quantity. It's not always enough, but it certainly helps. Sort of one good ship will do a lot more than multiple mediocre ships. It is pushing the price up, but it's not horrendous. It's certainly not unnoticeable, though. Of course, our ship is squarer as well, so we do have to keep that in mind. We might actually have more material, if anything. We might end up with a lot of internal dead space. It could even be that we end up slicing a chunk out the middle of the ship and shortening it, but but it looks right proportionally at the moment, so we'll try and keep it at this length if we can. But if we think it might be better served by being smaller and shorter, we can do it. Like, so was it prefab mode can generate a big enough slice anyway. Right. If we do the metal now, and get that to full height, then we can fill tool in the alloy. Okay, so that's one that wants to go over there. Oh. Okay, that's 4, that's 3, then 2. Of course. Where does that stop? That stops there. Again, hopefully... hopefully what I'm trying to talk about with our various decisions as to why we've run the ship like we are is interesting enough to fill in the time, because the actual... building in this game, it's not unenjoyable. It is fun to plan out and design these things. But it takes a while if you're doing something this big. And again, this is... I have gotten a lot better at actually building ships since I started the Front Dev series. Partly that's because of you guys' help. Thanks all. But partly I would just say I have generally gotten actually better. I've actually learned much more what actually works. Like, what doesn't just look cool. What actually, you know, makes your ship perform better. Perform better, even. It is things like this, like going, oh, you need to actually, like, with your armor, you probably need it to be more than, like, a block thick in most places, which is something I definitely used to do far too much. My armor used to be very thin. And indeed, you guys have probably seen that on some of our early campaign ships in the Nita campaign. A lot of ships where I thought, yeah, that'll be enough armor, and it's like, no, it isn't. Not even remotely. Like, have you seen what the AI actually uses? And it's like, funnily enough, even. Oh my god, words. I'd never actually really looked that hard at them. And that was probably a mistake, because those... I've always known that the builders that make the craft that acts as like faction craft know what they're doing, so it's weird, and I never actually just thought to just steal their ideas. It's like, they do these things because they work. Oh boy. I missed that bit as well. Yeah, and this one. And this one. Yeah, in fact, it'll be all the way up there, won't it? So might as well do all the 2 meters at once. Might as well use what bits of ship there already are existing. Oh, I don't even know if that's the right words, but might as well integrate the hull where we can, because it's already there. On the outside of the hull anyway. And the 39. We're getting up on cost, but it's not awful. Right, and then we'll add the 2 meter cap to it all. We'll have a 2 meter thick deck, which will be reinforced decking and probably metal, I would imagine. We will have a decent armored deck on this one. There's no point going to all this effort to put in a hull this solid and then like leaving it there. It's like, no, come on, you go the whole hog at this point. We're already spending like maybe half of the craft's cost in metal to make this thing nice and solid. It has to survive at least for some time against a craft that's a lot bigger than it is, so it does need to be tough. Right. Then here's the bit where we potentially see the cost spike, because we had the alloy. Alright, here we go. It's so quick by comparison. Is this because I have got it on the wrong layer? Yeah, we do need to get it right. Okay. Fill. 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 Yeah, and it should be 2 to get to the top. I thought so. Fill. Oh, and the back of the turret. The back of the hull isn't filled. Let's do that. Fill. 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 Ah, that is satisfying, though. I do like this game's fill tool. Okay, a lot. A lot of resources have been spent. We should actually have room for some kind of vertical generator set up in the back there, I think. I think we will put the engine there. We've already made that massive armoured compartment for it. Again, whether we'll just use motors or what, I don't know, but we'll probably armour the drive shafts up a bit as well, I reckon. But we've got to actually get those up and running first. We may end up moving them a little bit, I'm not sure. Actually, how big are those motors? We might even go for motors now, but we'll have a steam generator, so it'll be steam electric. For the sake of just positioning everything and considering the armor scheme. Okay, that does work. Let's do that metal. We are going to armor up around this motor. And we're going to use heavy armor. Yeah, I think we will use that. I think that is actually not a bad method. I like the direct drive steam, but just because of the way the armor layout has come out, and because they hadn't quite planned for that. Yeah, we'll go with heavy armor. We'll go with the motors, but we will be running it off of steam. I like running them off steam. It feels very authentic. I believe steam electric was a thing even at the time, so yeah. Although I've been wrong about this stuff before. I thought we had a World War I battleship. It turned out to be a pre-dreadnought, so, you know, there is that. And wasn't even a proper battleship, apparently, although I don't know if the guy in the comments actually said what it actually was. In terms of, like, what type of ship it was. Coastal monolith ship of some sort? I'm not even sure. Okay. We will be able to move. We do need to check if we will be able to float. We only have a few compartments at this point, but we'll definitely be splitting it up further. Let's see, with just those 3, with air pumps, if it will float, or 4, I guess, technically, because we've got the rear engine section. Or not the rear engine section, the rear empty hull section. Will work there? It should do. Right. Oh, it's lagging. I think that's because the hull's open, but... Look at that. She floats, and at about the right depth as well, actually. The back is definitely heavier at the moment, but it will be weighed down by twice as many guns. We may have to do something about that, because that is quite a big weight difference. But I think it's looking okay. It's floating okay. And yeah, that's about the time we got for the episode. Sorry, it was a little one note, but hopefully you've enjoyed seeing this thing come together. I'm hoping to get another episode out tomorrow. Normally I'd record Wednesdays, but we've got... Basically, the reason I do that is because we usually go to visit a family member on Wednesday, so I don't really have the full time to do work on my normal job. So instead I use the day to record, because it still kind of contributes to the work. The YouTube channel is partly for you guys to have fun watching the stuff, and partly also for me to be able to be like, hey, here's what I've made. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe have a look. I should still be able to get something out tomorrow, but we're not seeing them tomorrow. We're seeing them on Thursday, so recording schedule might be a bit jank, because Thursday I also go for Warhammer, so I won't have the time after work to record into, or after seeing them to record into necessarily, so we'll have to kind of see how that all works out. But yes, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully there'll be an episode up tomorrow. If you've got any suggestions for the ship, for things we could do with it, do let me know. We'll, I think beyond Citadel armor in here, really just having armor this thick should be enough. But yeah, so that, the question about armor stacking, any other stuff like that, feel free to throw it in the comments, or feel free to come join us in the Discord if you like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.